Wow, that's a big pan.
A big pan for a big job.
Okay, go ahead and say it.
And what's that?
Something you've always wanted to say. My pan is bigger than your pan.
Well, it absolutely is.
Yum, 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 yum.
Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of One Chef One Critic. I'm Karl Wells, food critic for the Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
Well, Steve, size is important when it comes to pans, is it not?
Absolutely, Karl. It's just like having the right knife for the right job. You should have the right pan or the pot for the jobs that you're doing, for even heat distribution and what you're cooking as well. There's no use getting a 2-pound fillet of cod and trying to cook it in a small pan like this.
No, it would be kind of flopping out
all over all over the place, you see. So it's not as though you're going to be using them all the time, but it's always nice to have them in your inventory, that you've got the right pan for the right job.
That's right. And sometimes when I'm doing a new recipe, if I realize I don't have the right size pan, I figure out, well, what size pan am I going to need to cook this recipe effectively? And I just go out and I buy it. Okay. Coming up in the program today, we have Keith Pike with us. Keith is the artistic director for the Stephenville Theatre Festival, and it's celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. He is also the founder of Theatre St. John's. And what are we going to be cooking with Keith?
We're going to be making chicken a la king.
Ah,
yes.
Chicken a la Keith. Coming up as well, we have Mike Gillan of Saltwater Restaurant, and Mike is going to be steaming mussels, making mussels in beer. So stay tuned. For a complete listing of One Chef One Critic recipes, wine lists, and more, check out our website. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600 or send us an email at onechef.onecritic@rci.rogers.com. I've been joined by theater guru Keith Pike. Nice to have you on the show.
Glad to be here, Karl.
So, what are we going to be whipping up for Keith today?
Well, it's traditionally called chicken a la king, but today I think we're going to call it chicken a la Keith. So there you go, you see. So,
I handle that.
Chicken a la Keith. Very, very appropriate.
There you go. And Karl, I'm going to get you to make a Belgium endive and radicchio slaw. And I've got quite a bit of chopping to do, Keith. So what we've got on here is some mushroom soup, but we're going to add some more mushrooms to that. But I'll get you to add some peppers and half of that mustard as well. So
the main thing is
all
to keep
these
that
peppers?
from burning.
All of those.
Okay.
Yeah. The main thing
From burning, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will carry on with a little bit more of the mushrooms.
So Keith, when were you bitten by the performing bug? Were you very young?
I remember when I was a kid, me and my brother, I have a twin who's also an actor, and we used to just in the backyard put on little plays and songs for the neighbors, whether they liked it or not. We performed for them, and ever since then, you know, it's been steady belts.
Is your brother an identical twin?
He's a fraternal.
We're
fraternal. I mean, we do look alike, but I like to think I'm the better looking twin of the two. But
who's the older?
Craig is the older.
Okay.
Is his name. Craig's his name, and he's the older, and he lives up in Ontario.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you were in grade school, did you have any music or drama programs in the lower grades that could kind of help you build your talents?
Yeah, and to focus on that side of my path. Yeah, I remember being in choirs all through elementary school and high school. I went to Holy Heart, so I was part of the chamber choir there with Susan Quinn, and then I actually went to the School of Music, did a degree there, and then from there went to Sheridan College.
Oh, okay.
And studied theater up in Ontario.
Yeah.
But then came home because I love Newfoundland and Labrador, and the talent here is just incredible. It's like no other, really, and so I really wanted to come home and cultivate that.
Yeah. So do you cook at all at home?
I do cook. I cook all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, and I love to cook. I love trying new flavors, and I've never actually made chicken a la king, so this is exciting for me.
Maybe you could do a play after it or something.
Right.
Poulet à la reine.
That would be great. Well, can you be in it? Can you both star in it?
No problem.
No problem.
Well, I'll need a little bit of training.
Okay, great.
I don't know, because there'd be a big argument over who got top billing.
Okay, yeah. Well, we can discuss that in your.
I don't think there'll be any question. I don't think there'd be any
No, I mean,
Always wants top billing, you see.
yes, I do. I've heard.
I never get it.
I've heard. No, okay.
Yeah.
Never get it
I
at
have
all.
to fight him on these things.
We can share the top billing. We can split that. That's not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. We've got our peppers in there and our mushrooms into our
Wonderful, and look at the colors and with the peppers. That's
It's
great.
really coming through.
Yeah.
What I've got here, I've got some cooked chicken. I'm going to dice that up, then we'll add that to it.
Okay, so you put a cooked chicken in here.
A cooked
Great.
chicken, correct. Yeah.
So, did you do musical theater in high school at Holy Heart?
I did,
Were you
yeah.
in some of the shows they did there?
Yeah, we did Oliver when I was there, and I was like, it wasn't yesterday, but that
Did you
was.
play? Oh, no, you
No, I didn't. I'm a little too tall for Oliver.
Yeah, a little. You would have been a little too old.
A little too old for Oliver too. Yeah. No, Craig and I did it. Were in it actually, and we tap danced in that one. We were in the St. Pat's Dancers back in the day.
Oh, back in the day.
So that's how we learned how to dance. But yeah, Oliver was one of my first musicals.
Yeah.
That I did, and I fell in love with. I mean, it's a beautiful show.
Right.
And
it is a
the
beautiful
story,
show.
you know. So
Yeah.
that was one of my first ones.
Who will buy this beautiful morning? That's from Oliver.
That is, yeah.
And
it is
may I have some more? Is that
Please,
yes,
yeah,
that's right.
and
Yeah, that's the
and
classic.
A family of 6. I'm used to saying that.
Yeah.
Please, sir, can I have some more? Please, mom, can I have some more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
But,
that's right.
Yep.
So you mentioned that you went to Sheridan's musical theater program.
I did. Yeah.
My goodness, what's the reason so many young Newfoundlanders go to Sheridan?
Go to Sheridan?
Yeah, because I'm always hearing about.
Well, yeah. There's Keely Hutton, Robin Hutton, all the Huttons, pretty much. And there's so many. There are so many. Well, I mean, Sheridan is one of the best schools, and if not the best school in the country for musical theater. And it's so close to Toronto, so you can get into the city to see other shows that are playing and being produced in the city. And it's a longer program. I mean, it's a 3-year program.
Right.
So you really do get to learn a lot, and it steeps you in the art of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long have you been back now, you say?
5 years. 5 years. So since I moved home, I started a company here called Theatre St. John's, and we've been producing shows.
Yeah.
And also on the west coast of the province. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about Theatre St. John's
Sure, yeah.
in a second, but before I get to Theatre St. John's, I want to talk about the Stephenville Theatre Festival, because 2 years ago you were made the artistic director.
I
there,
was,
right?
yeah.
But you'd been there for quite a few years prior to being made the artistic director. Right?
Yeah, I spent 5 years as an actor there, and directing shows there as well. And then when the opportunity came, I applied for the job as artistic director. And
excellent.
And ever since, and there's a lot of really great things happening with the Stephenville Theatre Festival.
This is the 35th anniversary, right?
2000 and what is this? 13. Yeah, it marks the 35th anniversary. So the festival is older than I am.
Older than you.
Yeah, older than I am. So and I mean, and what's happening in Stephenville is great. I mean, have you made it out there? Have you been to the festival?
Not recently, but
back in the day.
done. Yeah.
They do incredible work out there. So we're excited. Yeah.
I was actually in Stephenville, kind of at the birth, because
with Maxim.
I was out there for the Provincial Drama Festival.
Okay. Yeah.
And Maxim Azumdar was the adjudicator.
Yes.
And that's where...
That must have been the first year, I think it was.
Well, the Stephenville Theatre Festival came after that Provincial Drama Festival.
Yes.
Because that's when he first became acquainted with the folks in Stephenville and became acquainted with Newfoundland.
Yeah.
And kind of fell for Newfoundland. And the people in Stephenville were trying to figure out a way to maybe help the economy there. And they came up with this idea to start the festival, and Maxim was made the artistic director.
He was, and they embraced him and his idea. It's the longest running festival in the province.
Yeah,
really?
It is. Yeah, it's the Stephenville Theatre Festival. So you know.
So what we've got here now, we've got our mushrooms in there, we've got our chicken in there, we've got some peppers in there. I've just added a little bit of tarragon in there.
Lovely.
And now we'll put a little bit of sour cream to tartan it up.
Great.
And afterwards we'll put a little bit of sherry or a little bit of port in there.
Oh, of course. Why not?
And the last
smells amazing.
The last thing I'm going to put in there is now some green onion as well. So
I'm always so impressed by chopping skills.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
I'm practicing in my own is how to chop faster and faster.
And to be careful of your fingers and your
Right?
thumbs.
Yeah.
So, what's the biggest production you've undertaken at Stephenville?
In Stephenville, the biggest one, we did a play last year called Mary's Wedding, and it's the biggest production that I've taken on since being with the festival, in the sense that it has a life now past last summer, so we're touring the show.
Right.
which is great because I think it's important to be touring.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
we have the theaters that allow you
to do that. All the arts culture centers across the province.
Yeah.
You know, it's provincially we might be one of the only provinces that have these kind of arts culture centers. So we have to keep them alive and thriving.
Alive and with
We do. It's so important. So I think that show is the biggest show and the actors that were in it were really incredible, and the production value and the story. So for me, I'm the most proud of that show. I'm proud of all of our shows, but you know, certain scripts have a nice place in your heart.
Yeah. Okay, I've got my slaw dressing done here, which
That looks great.
basically just some olive oil, vinegar, Dijon mustard. Is it, Steve?
Yeah, Dijon mustard is Karl,
Salt and pepper.
So simple.
And voila!
So easy.
There you go.
Just needs to be stirred
And
up.
a great side. Yeah.
And now I'm going to get some wine to go with this
great.
chicken a la Keith, okay?
Wonderful.
Chicken
a la Keith.
Okay, that's beautiful there.
Great. Okay.
And what we're going to be serving that in is some beautiful vol au vent, some pastry cases. I've just taken the top off, and then we're just going to nappe the sauce over.
Wonderful.
Okay,
How
and that's
easy.
it.
That's great and easy.
Absolutely.
Right? Anyone
There
can
you
do
go.
that. That's
There you go.
That's great.
Hello, Andrea.
Hey, Karl.
Well, we have chicken a la king today. It's kind of a, an old-style North American recipe, I guess.
Classics are classics for a reason.
But always good. So what do you have for us in terms of a pairing?
You would normally think white because of the creaminess and the light meat, but I'm offering 2 reds today in addition to a white. I'm going nice and cool climate, light, bright acidity. So the first one I have is from Canada. It is the Pelee Island Lighthouse Line Cab Franc. I know that there's some tarragon and some peppers in the dish, a little Dijon. So this is going to go really nicely with that. It's going to pick up on those vegetal kind of qualities. Then I have the Villa Maria, which is a New Zealand Pinot Noir. I know there are some mushrooms in the dish, so this is going to pick up on that earthy, lovely, mushroomy notes in the dish. And the bright acidity, again, not over the top. It's going to not clash with the cream in the dish.
Yeah, it is a chicken a la king with some character.
Exactly.
Because of those herbs and so forth, yeah.
So we can go along with that. And the third offering I have is Tidal Bay. This is from Yost in Nova Scotia. This winery was just purchased by a Newfoundlander, so we have a lovely Newfoundland connection here. This is a couple of hybrid grapes in here, so it's fuller body, a little bit tropical on the nose, but enough acidity in the balance that it's going to kind of cleanse your palate between bites with the creaminess of the dish.
Okay. And how about prices?
This is 20. The New Zealand one is 24, and the Canadian is 14.
Okay, I'm curious about this one because I haven't had it. It's a Lighthouse Cabernet Franc from Ontario, so I'm going to go with this one.
Yeah, see if you pick up the green pepper and tarragon in there.
I'll try.
All right,
Thank you.
see ya.
Now we just added about 3 tablespoons of sherry into there, and then we'll nappe our vol au vent cases with the chicken a la king. One more, like so, and from top, the puff pastry, let's pop that on the top. So, let's go and take our chicken a la king to chicken a la Keith and to Karl.
Bit of the grape.
Bit of the grape.
Bit of the grape.
Goes a long way.
Yes, that's right. Now, let's taste this
Smells great.
chicken a la Keith.
Yeah, please.
And
Chicken a la Keith. Yeah.
Yeah.
See what we think of it, because I'm telling you, this is one of the prettiest dishes we've
It
done
looks
on the
great.
show.
Smells delicious.
And one of the simplest
So good.
ones as well, Karl, eh?
What's that?
And one of the simplest ones, yeah.
It's fairly simple,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's amazing how a simple dish can be turned into a really elegant production.
Yeah.
And
Like
flavors.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that salad looks absolutely amazing.
Because you made it so.
Because you did. Yeah.
Well, one thing Steve is really good at is making food look pretty. I'll give you that.
Thank you very much, Karl.
Your food always tastes good, but you can make it look pretty.
I'll take a compliment wherever
There
I
you
can
go.
get it.
Although I made the slaw.
So-
didn't I?
Yes, and the slaw looks great too.
I made the slaw and you prettied it up for me. Yeah.
I look pretty too sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
true,
yes,
you know,
that's- yes.
occasional.
And now let's get back to talking about theatre.
Yeah.
When you got this job as artistic director of the Stephenville Theatre Festival, you came with a lot in your CV. I mean, there was a lot of musical theatre in your background.
There was, yep.
Definitely, right?
Yep.
So was this kind of a signal from the board of directors that that's the way they wanted to take the festival, musical theater as opposed to plays, or
Well,
am
the
I
Stevensville,
wrong?
well, no, you're absolutely right. The Stevensville Theatre Festival, it sets apart from other festivals in the sense that it does commit itself to musical theatre productions for the past 35 years. So because of my experience in musical theatre, I think that's why they trusted me to take the job, is to move the Stevensville Theatre Festival forward on the musical theatre side.
But do you still do plays, or is it
In Stephenville?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We. It's important for me as the artistic director and artistically to program at
be
least
there for
one
it,
play every summer, and because of the audience, there are people in the audience that may not like
Right,
musical
yeah,
theater, but they
yeah.
do enjoy dramatic pieces,
Yeah.
comedies, and so yeah, it's important for us to program that.
where do your performers come from?
A lot of our performers are from Newfoundland and Labrador and from the region, on the west coast and in Stephenville. But we do auditions in Toronto, hold them up there, and fly people down that have worked at the Shaw Festival, the Stratford Festival, and here they come into little old Stephenville. And it's a bit of a culture shock sometimes, but it's all about the work and the stories and what we're in the theatre, and we end up having a great time.
Now, they train actors in Corner Brook at
do.
the college
Yeah.
there. Do you have any kind of a relationship with the school there?
We do, and the festival has in the past 35 years have worked with students from the Grenfell, and so we always hold auditions at Grenfell, and we open up the season to students there because they also have a technical side for stage managers and
Right.
assistant stage managers, designers, and things like that. So
Yes.
whenever we can and whenever the interest is there, we definitely we bring them on board
Right.
to
Yeah.
work with the festival.
Okay, tell me a little bit about Theatre St. John's, because this is kind of your winter gig, isn't it?
Theatre St. John's, it's a company that I started myself 5 years ago when I moved back to Newfoundland, and we mostly just produce musical theatre. We've shows like West Side Story and Little Women. Tina Madigan came home from New York to do it. Kellyanne Evans is now on board as co-artistic director. So
Oh, really? That's great.
it is great because
You've got quite some weight there, haven't you?
well, the two of us we have different strengths and we're playing off them, and so we're excited. We're excited for the past and we're excited for the future of that company as well.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for you.
thank you, yeah.
Now, what about rehearsal space and that kind of thing? Do you work out at the same theater all the time, or?
We do. We've worked out of actually all the theatres, I think, in St. John's, the Ellis Pugh Hall, Holy Heart Theatre, and the Arts and Culture Centre, and we rehearse out of the Arts and Culture Centre. It's a great resource for actors and artists in the city. Yeah.
Well, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
And congratulations
Thank
on
you.
starting that up. You're really enriching the theatre community in St. John's, and that cannot be bad. So
No, exactly.
cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Keith Pike. Coming up, we have Mike Gillan of Saltwater, who's going to steam some mussels in beer.
You've seen the show, and now there's a book. Cooking with One Chef One Critic by Karl Wells with Steve Watson features 120 recipes, more than 200 photos, and plenty of behind-the-scenes stories from this long-running series. Cooking with One Chef One Critic is available now.
Well, Saltwater is one of the newer additions to Duckworth Street's Restaurant Row. It's a very attractive restaurant with a contemporary menu that features lots of wonderful local ingredients, especially seafood. And we're going to be cooking up some seafood right now with the chef at Saltwater, Mike Gillan. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Nice to have you with us.
So good to be here.
So, what's on the go? What are we doing?
Well, we've got some local mussels, some local beer, some fresh vegetables, salsa, garlic and lemon, and we're going to have a little steam up of some mussels.
Everything I like.
Absolutely. So shall we get started, Mike?
Very good. Well, the mussels steamed with a touch of wine. We're going to show the trick now to get the mussel juice to be the sauce
Okay.
for the recipe. So having them steamed in the beer,
There
and
we
then
go.
to reduce the beer, thank you for your help.
There we go. It's going to reduce.
Oh, it's
a nice
gonna reduce.
alcohol. Yep.
We promise.
We'll cool it down a little bit with a bit of salsa.
Okay, there we go. That'll bring it right down. Okay, perfect.
Bubble, bubble, toil
And trouble.
So a nice spicy salsa. I find myself liking a little bit more chili than normal people would. So I use
Okay.
fresh chili paste.
Okay, so what was that? Sorry, a little chili.
Fresh chili paste.
Chili paste. Okay.
Hot
And
chili paste.
The zest and juice of half a lemon.
Yep.
And really important to take the zest too. Not too much of the pith, but the nice yellow zest off the
Right,
top
yeah.
of it is really going to spark up the flavor.
Yeah, really be very pungent.
Lots of garlic in there to go with the lemon.
Perfect.
And of
Done
course,
a nice
the
job of
juice
chopping
from
up
the
that
mussels.
garlic.
Yep. Yep.
Bit of practice, Karl.
Good knife skills there, yeah.
And then to let this reduce down, we'll put it back over top of the mussels. So I'm going to take and just arrange those a little bit here now into
That's
the
a
bowl
good
for
idea.
us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously these are Newfoundland farm-grown mussels, I guess.
They are at that, delivered fresh to the restaurant in nice big sacks, and these ones were absolutely perfect. I noticed when they
look
came in,
really
I
good,
said,
yeah.
these will be the ones we'll use to start the performance today.
Yeah.
So I like to open them up and arrange them so that the salsa can pour back down
pour
in
back
them
into it,
and give more to the flavor of the mussel, the juice,
Yeah.
the salsa,
Now
the
it
beer.
looks like this bowl was actually made for these mussels. Did you have any part of this at all? Or?
It did turn out that way, actually. Some years ago, I decided as a hobby to begin with pottery, and then became making more and more and more of it, and new designs and so forth. So both my wife and I actually work now as visual artists, and we have this lovely bit of business of making the pots and pans and bowls and such.
Yeah.
You are a busy guy.
Yeah.
Wow, and that's a beautiful, beautiful bowl.
We have found some water lilies out in a pond
Yeah.
down the south shore of the province, and my wife has done this bit of a water lily carving around the outside.
Yeah,
to etch it in.
It's really attractive.
I
yeah.
really like the presentation in the bowl as well.
And we'll put the nice bright crisp asparagus spears
Yeah.
in there and let them steam just a little bit.
So were they blanched or anything before?
No,
you-
they're going to
okay.
blanch them right into the sauce here, just enough to leave them nice and crispy and
Oh,
bright
crunchy,
green.
That flavour.
And my tomato bombs, well, I don't tend to put the grape tomatoes in too soon because it can get just so terribly hot.
Really hot,
and
yeah.
really explode in
Oh,
your
yeah,
mouth and,
yeah.
and make a big mess all over you. So just at the last finish, but again, for some nice bright red and to add a little bit more
right.
texture and color to the dish.
Yeah.
But the beer itself will add plenty of salt and the water that comes from the mussels.
Sure,
so
yeah.
be careful when you make this dish not to over salt it. The
Yeah.
beer, as it reduces, adds a nice bit of salt and malt flavor to it.
Yeah. And there's so much salt in so many products today too. You know, you always have to kind of keep that in
Keep it
mind.
in moderation wherever
Yeah.
possible.
And be really careful to try and make things from scratch, not to buy the prepackaged
Sure,
or pre-made
yeah.
things, but chop your own tomatoes, chop your own
Exactly.
peppers.
Yeah.
They are readily available. Yeah.
That's a great presentation already. And
It
you
is,
haven't even
isn't it?
done the sauce.
Rather mouth-watering.
Yeah, I always found, I think it was my nan who said at first that if it looked really nice, it would taste better. You were already one step ahead of the game to have it looking nice in the first place.
Exactly.
Just about ready with the asparagus. We'll put in the little tomatoes.
Does, yeah. It smells beautiful already, especially
So is
that
this a
reduction in
dish
there
that
in the
you
butter.
would do at Saltwater?
Similarly, I haven't yet done a garnish with tomatoes and asparagus, and we've played around with various different forms of the menu since
Right,
we've opened.
okay.
But when we first initially started it, we used local seaweed product as the garnish rather than the asparagus and
yeah.
tomatoes, and the strands of nice purple seaweed over top of it and so
Yeah,
forth.
like the dulce, yeah.
And again, we had been reading about how nutritious it was and trying to think of ways to include it in the diet, and found that just at the very end of the sauce to just soften it a little bit and put it on,
Yeah.
because again, it's quite salty too.
True,
And
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't want to take right over the dish with salt. But we're pretty much here now. Nice bright green and red colors,
Yeah,
and
and those organic
again,
mussels there. Ooh.
all the flavor of the mussels and the salsa in the sauce as it comes to the table, as you present it to your table. It just fills the room with this lovely smell of garlic and lemon, and of course the tomatoes and
The red and the green is great.
Given the great colors there.
Okay, I'm just going to pull one out and have a taste because we're rapidly running out of time. I'm not even going to disturb your arrangement.
It's made to be taken apart.
What do you think, Karl? Very good?
Right, excellent, yeah. Thanks so much, Mike, for being on the show.
thank you very much for having me here.
Absolutely fabulous.
Look forward to seeing you downtown.
And that's it for this edition of
One chef?
One Critic.
Well, Karl, it's my turn now. You tell me.
So you're going to pour some of the...
I am, as soon as you guys stop trying to eat them on me.
Let's go ahead and look at that.
And I
Nice.
won't tell you how young a teen I was when I figured out that beer and salsa went really well with mussels.